Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be working in this book here, which I created to be a travel journal. It's this really nice golden brown color and it's got some texture to it, and it also has this little window in the front cover. And then on the inside I decorated the covers with this collage. I did create this book cover in another video. Since then, I haven't done anything to it. The only thing I've added is a varnish to the cover, so it now has a nice little shine to it, and it definitely feels really soft and high quality. And today I'm going to start adding in some signatures. So the first thing I want to do is reinforce this spine. So I cut out some pieces of paper that I'm going to add to the spine just to make it a bit stronger. And I think I'll use some Mod Podge to glue that in. Now that we have the paper down, I want to mark out where I'm going to poke the holes for my signatures. So I actually have this new tool here, which basically it helps you poke your holes in your signatures through the paper. So you would just put the paper here, line this up, and then easily you can just poke the holes like that. So I want to use this to make sure that my holes are evenly spaced. So I'm just going to take this one and line it up in the middle. So I'm going to take my ruler and measure to make sure that it's centered. I should also mention that this tool is called a bookbinding cradle. I actually 3D printed it, and I'm using it here to mark where I want to poke the holes into my spine so that they match up with the holes that I will poke into my signatures. Alright, I don't know if you can see that, but I've just used my pencil to mark out where I want all of my signatures to be. So I'm going to put my book block underneath and then poke through with my awl to get the holes into the book. So let's do this. So I actually have my first signature ready to go, but I don't actually have enough papers to add in all of my signatures quite yet, mainly because I don't know what future travels I'm going to go on, so I don't know what papers I want to add in. I've decided to just start working in the journal and just add in one insert, and then I'll add in more as I go along. I know I definitely don't have any travel coming up, so that's why I was unsure about starting this journal, but I do have enough travel ephemera that I've just collected over the past few years, and these are just mainly like leftover ephemera that didn't make it into my other journals, and I just kept them because I figured I could put it in another journal in the future, so that's what I'm doing, and I figure they kind of have sentimental value. And a lot of items and ephemera that I've collected, they just were a little bit too big to fit into my old notebooks, so that's why I made this particular journal fairly big. It's about the size of, I guess, half a sheet of paper, so like a piece of printer. Actually, no, it's a little bit bigger than that. I think it's maybe 6 by, I'm not sure, maybe 6 by 11 or something like that. So it is on the larger side, so I'm hoping I'll be able to fit quite a bit of ephemera into it. Yes, okay, cool. It poked the whole way through. Look at that. Wow. That's really cool. Okay, wow. I like that. Okay, now I'm going to take my thread. This is a 100% natural hemp cord. I got this from Joanne. And I'm going to apply some beeswax. This is just something I like to do to make the thread a little bit easier to work with. And then I'm going to thread this through my bookbinding needle. Hopefully I can get this through. Oops. Okay, that wasn't too bad. And then I'm going to start threading my signature into the book. So I always start with the middle signature and go outwards, or the middle hole. And then I like to make sure that this piece doesn't pull all the way through, so I just tug it underneath one of those paper clips. And then let me make sure this is the right direction. I think I want it this way. Yep. So once I'm at this point, I like to just pull everything through to make sure that it's as tight as I can get it. And then I'll just take these two strings and make sure that they're nice and taut. And then I take this with the needle still in it, and I put it through here so that these two pieces are opposite each other. Then at this point you can take off the thread from the needle and just make sure it's tight, and then tie this in a knot. And that's pretty much it. So that looks pretty good. There are some little excess pieces of string here, so I'm just gonna cut that off. All right, so we have our first signature in. It looks pretty good. I'm just gonna trim this off actually. I don't need these strings here. That looks pretty good. So we've got our first signature in. I think that's enough for now. I might add in some more pages later, but I will show you the inspiration that I had for these pages. I picked this learning to ride a bike page. It was from a Daphne's Diary magazine. I figured biking is kind of a form of travel, and I don't know, I just liked the way it looked, so I added that in. This paper has references to the Eiffel Tower, and on the other side it has some images of the Eiffel Tower. And I did go to Paris last year, so I figured I wanted that page in. And then this one is of course inspired by Venice. It says Carnival in Venice, and this is actually a map of Italy here. So this was actually, I think, a 6x6 paper. So I knew if I folded it in half, it wouldn't be really wide enough to be a full page. So what I did is I just folded it over a little bit here so that this paper is pretty much a full-size sheet. And this one here is kind of just a decorative flap. And I'm sure there's a lot of things you could do with a flap like this. You could just glue it down here and then it just becomes a decorative piece on top of this other paper. Or I could even just glue the top and bottom here and then it becomes a little tuck spot there. So that's a good way to use up your 6x6 papers. And then this paper in the middle is has a bunch of cameras on it, and this was like a full 12x12 sheet that I cut down to fit, and I think I'm going to use this as a really large pocket. I'm not sure how I'm going to close it, but maybe like sealing it on the top and bottom, and then it could be a side loading pocket, or I could also seal it down the side and the bottom, and then it becomes a top loading pocket. So it kind of depends on what I feel like doing, but there's definitely a lot of options there. So there's my first signature. I think the next thing I want to do is decorate this front page, and I want to add something so that you can see it through this window here. The first thing that I'm doing to decorate this page is I'm taking out some of my paper scraps. I keep all of my paper scraps in a little box, and I actually had some of the scraps from when I created the collage that is decorating the inner covers of this book. So I picked out some of those and arranged them into a little corner cluster on the bottom right hand side of the page. I also layered some travel themed washi tape on top, and then I added in a sticker. I believe this sticker is of some landmark, so if you recognize it, please let me know what it is in the comments below. Then I took out my text stickers and I picked out a phrase that matched the theme of this journal, and it says, "The journey is the destination," and I just put that sticker in the bottom corner. Next, I took my pencil and traced around the window so that I can see which part of the page is visible from the outside of the book. I decided to add some stamping, so I used my alphabet stamps to write out the word explore. And I know that some of the letters are crooked, but I actually like that aspect of stamping because it always has some imperfections in it. And I had a little bit of extra space, so I added in a floral stamp at the end. Lastly, I felt like the top corner was missing something, so I added some pieces of washi tape to decorate. I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching.